everybody, welcome back. Today we are making the Ainsley Romper from Samantha Marie Designs. I'm doing the snapback and the snap crotch. I'm using ID OBD92 on heavy double brush poly, and my liner is a color match on Skinny Rib. You can purchase this fabric at mlafabrics.com. To get started, we are going to work on our bodice. We are going to lay our back pieces right sides together. We're going to do that with our liner and our main piece, and we're going to serge this bottom section and leave the top alone. Now we will gather our bottoms to match our bodice width. We have a few gathering videos if you need gathering help. I will link those in the description. The way I prefer to gather is I serge across the top where I'm going to be creating my gathers, and I undo the chain. And whenever you undo the chain, you're going to have your 4 threads. The 2 shorter ones are going to be the threads that you're wanting. They're also going to be the 2 middle threads. So I grab those 2 middle threads and I just guide the fabric down those threads. You're going to want to be a little gentle as sometimes your threads can break, but I just gather it down the thread until I get my gathers how I like it and until it matches the bodice. And then you'll see here that it's going to match my bodice when I'm done. Next, we're going to construct our bodice. So we're going to take our lining piece and lay them right sides together and align those shoulders. You can add clips here. Since it's such a little small area, I don't typically add clips, but you can do whatever your heart desires. You're going to do that with the main and the lining. And then you'll head to your serger and just serge across those shoulders. Now we're going to lay our bodice pieces right sides together. And then for this bodice, we're going to serge around the back keyhole, and then we're going to come back and serge around the neck hole, and we're going to leave the end of the straps open. And now you're going to need your stabilizer for your snaps. I just use a piece of woven fabric. You can use interfacing, whatever your preference is. I just prefer some woven fabric. And then once you have those clipped on, you're just going to serge the ends. And this is what it looks like after I've serged that little piece in. And now we're going to flip our back straps out. I'm using a paintbrush to help guide that through. You can use anything you have on your desk as long as it's not going to stab your fabric. Now that we have our bodice flipped out, we're going to connect our sleeves. I like to fold my sleeves in half and make a little notch just so I know where the middle of my sleeves are. That's completely optional, but I do like to do that. I'm then going to match up the notch to the top of my shoulder seam. I'm going to clip that in place and then clip along my sleeve. And then I'm going to follow the same steps to the other side. Once we get those clipped on, we're going to head to the serger and serge along where we just clipped on both sides. Now I'm going to fold over my bodice right sides together, and then I'm going to match up my armpit seams and add my clip, and then I'm going to make sure the ends of my sleeves match up and then add my clip there, and then make sure that the bottom of my bodice is matching up too. I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to head to the serger and serge down both of those sides. Now I'm going to put my bottom pieces right sides together and clip down those sides. Once you have those clips, you'll head to your serger and serge down both sides. Now we're going to work on the snap placket. So for the snap placket, I like to grab a piece of woven fabric. You can use some interfacing, but I prefer just a piece of woven fabric. You're going to lay that on the opposite side of your snap placket, and we're going to lay down our snap placket on our crotch evenly. To better assure that you have everything lined up, you can make a notch in the middle marks to make sure that everything is even. And then you will head to your serger and serge across. Now we're going to prep our hem, so we're going to serge down this side, and then we're going to also serge along this other side. It's not mandatory, it's just something I like to do. Then we are going to fold over and hem on both of those sides. All right, now we're going to work on our snap placket, and what we're going to do, we're just going to fold over that. I like to line it up with that other seam, and then I cover stitch across. And then this is what it'll look like when it's done. Now we're going to prep our bottom for our bodice, and I just like to make little quarter marks. I applied clips here. Normally I mark it with a fabric pin or I create a notch, but since it's gathered, I'm not going to create the notch. I'm just going to add these clips. And for my bodice, I'm going to mark the middle of the front of our bodice. I'm going to pull these side seams together and then just cut a notch where the middle meets. The back of it will have a seam. Now with my bottom pieces flipped wrong sides out, I'm going to tuck in our bodice where it's right sides together. I'm going to match up those side seams, and then I'm going to match up the front notch to the mark that we made to the bottom of our bottoms. and then you'll serge around the circle. Now we're going to hem our sleeves and add our snaps, and we'll be done. Here's the finished product. In the description, you will find the fabric and the pattern link. I'll also have links to other helpful videos such as gathering and hemming, along with useful sewing supplies. If you need any more help, please let me know.